Welcome back, everyone. We hope you've already watched Chapter 1 of our video series, available right now in our channel playlist. If you haven't yet, we kindly invite you to visit our channel, Make Me Smile, and check out the first video titled Body Language Secrets Revealed. Chapter 1. It's a great foundation to understand what we're going to talk about today. Before we dive into Chapter 2, let's take a quick moment to break down what Chapter 1 was really about, and understand the core idea behind the book this series is based on, the definitive book of body language. This book was written by Alan and Barbara Pease, world-renowned experts in human behavior. They created this definitive guide using their original book titled simply Body Language as the foundation. But they didn't stop there. They added research from modern scientific fields like evolutionary biology and evolutionary psychology. They also explored how advanced technology, like magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, shows what happens in the brain when we communicate. This book is not just about understanding other people's gestures. It's also about becoming more aware of your own nonverbal signals. Why is that important? Because your body language communicates often louder than your words. It can either support your message or completely contradict it. The goal of this book and our video series is to help you learn how to read others more accurately, and more importantly, how to use your own body language to connect, lead, and influence others effectively. Stay with us as we move into Chapter 2, where we'll unlock more hidden signals and give you powerful tips to improve your daily communication. Let's get started. Today, we're diving into Chapter 2 of the definitive book of body language. The power is in your hands. This chapter explores how our palms and handshakes can send powerful messages. Messages that can control, connect, or even cause discomfort without a single word. Let's start with a little history. In ancient times, people would show open palms to prove they weren't carrying weapons. It was a gesture of peace, an unspoken way to say, "You can trust me. I'm not a threat." And guess what? We still use that gesture today. Every time you wave, raise your hand to swear an oath, or put your hand on your heart, you're drawing from that ancient body language. Now let's bring this idea to life with a short story. It was Adam's first day at his new PR job. Tall, confident, and well-dressed, he was ready to impress. As he met each new colleague, he flashed a big smile and gave them a very firm handshake, just like his dad taught him. But here's the problem. His handshake was so strong, it actually caused pain. 2 women ended up with bruised ring fingers, and several others were left uncomfortable. Some of the men tried to match his grip, but the women? They simply started to avoid him, quietly warning each other, "Stay away from that new guy, Adam. He's a bruiser." No one said it to his face, but half the bosses were women. And without realizing it, Adam had damaged his first impression. So what's the lesson here? The way we use our hands, especially during a handshake, can make or break connections. Whether you're being heavy-handed, high-handed, or trying to gain the upper hand, your hands reveal more than you think. Our hands are deeply connected to the brain, more than any other part of the body. They've been essential to human evolution, and yet, most people never think about how they're using them. Here's the key. The first 5 to 7 pumps of a handshake are enough to establish dominance, or create trust, or even signal submission. And throughout history, the open palm has always meant honesty, peace, and respect. Think of oaths taken in court, palm up, or pledges with the hand on the heart. Even dogs show submission by exposing their throat. Humans? We show our palms. It's nature's way of saying, "I'm not hiding anything." Next up, we'll explore how to detect openness using palm signals, and how you can use them to build instant trust in any interaction. Stay tuned, and remember, the power really is in your hands. Welcome back, everyone. In this chapter, we're learning one of the simplest but most powerful body language signals: how to detect openness. Let's start with a basic idea. When someone is being honest or open, they naturally show their palms. It's an instinctive, almost unconscious gesture. Think about phrases like, "I didn't do it," "I'm telling you the truth," "I'm sorry if I upset you." In many cases, the speaker will extend their hands with palms visible, as if to say, "Look, I have nothing to hide." This palm gesture isn't just cultural or taught, it's deeply rooted in human behavior. Our brains recognize it, and we often feel it in our gut when someone is being real with us. Let's take a moment to look at the opposite behavior: hiding the palms. This can happen in many ways. Children who are lying often tuck their hands behind their backs. It's like their palms are betraying them, so they hide them. Now picture this. A man comes home late from a night out. He is trying to explain to his partner where he was, but he is doing it with his hands in his pockets. Or maybe he crosses his arms while talking. He says all the right things, but something feels off. Why? Because his palms are hidden, and unconsciously it sends a message: I'm not telling the full story. Here's another common difference between men and women. When men lie, it's often obvious in their body language. They might fidget, avoid eye contact, or hide their hands. But when women lie, they often look busy. They may multitask, talk about unrelated topics, or avoid direct engagement, all while keeping their hands occupied or out of sight. So, in both cases, male or female, watch the hands. They'll give you the truth long before the words do. Now let's look at how professionals use this insight. Salespeople are trained to look for exposed palms during conversations. If a customer says, "I can't buy it right now," and their palms are open, there's a good chance they're telling the truth. But if that same customer says the same words while keeping their hands hidden, they may just be making an excuse. So what can we learn? Honest explanations usually come with open palms. Dishonest ones? Not so much. Let's talk about one more interesting palm signal: hands in pockets. This is a classic move for people who don't want to participate in a conversation. It's their way of checking out without saying a word. It's like shutting the door on body language. Here's a real-life example. Prince William has often been photographed with his hands in his pockets during press interviews. This body language subtly tells the media, "I'm not open for discussion." Historically, the palms were considered the vocal cords of body language. They did the most talking of any part of the body. So when someone hides their palms, it's a bit like keeping their mouth shut, even while still speaking. So what's the takeaway? If you want to detect honesty, trust, or emotional openness, watch the hands, especially the palms. If they're visible and moving naturally, it's usually a good sign. If they're hidden, tense, or tucked away, there may be more going on than the words are saying. In the next segment, we'll explore how palm positions, facing up, down, or vertical, can send powerful messages about power and submission. Stay tuned and keep your eyes on the hands. Did you know your hands can speak louder than your words? One of the most powerful, but often unnoticed, body language signals is how you use your palms when speaking, giving directions, or even shaking hands. This subtle movement, called palm power, can send strong messages of authority, submission, or even aggression, without you saying a word. Let's explore the 3 most common palm gestures and how they affect the way people respond to you. Let's start with the most gentle of all, the palm-up gesture. Imagine you're asking someone to carry something for you. If your palm is facing upward, your request feels soft and non-threatening. It's like saying, "I'm not forcing you, but could you help?" This gesture feels open and friendly, almost like a street beggar's gesture, which shows vulnerability and trust. It also sends a signal from our evolutionary past. "Look, I have no weapons. You can trust me." Even in conversation, if you want someone to open up and speak, turn your palm upward. It gives off a calm, listening vibe, inviting, not commanding. Over time, this simple gesture evolved into other signals we still use today, like raising one hand to ask a question or placing a palm over the heart to show sincerity. Now flip that hand. When your palm is facing down, the message changes instantly. You're no longer asking, you're telling. This gesture has power. It suggests authority, confidence, even control. But here's the catch. It can also come across as bossy or aggressive, depending on who you're talking to. If the person you re-speaking to is on the same level as you, like a coworker, they might resist. But if you're their boss, the gesture feels more acceptable. It fits the role of leadership. Think about the infamous Nazi salute, palm facing straight down. It was designed to project absolute power and control. If that same salute had been palm up, people would have laughed. It wouldn't have carried the same force. Even in relationships, this shows up in subtle ways. When couples hold hands, the one with the palm facing down and slightly forward is often the more dominant partner. A tiny clue, but it says a lot. Finally, we come to the most aggressive hand signal of them all, the closed fist with a pointing finger. Picture someone angrily wagging their finger while talking. It feels like they're scolding or attacking. That's because this gesture resembles a primitive fighting move, a symbolic club used to dominate. When used while speaking, especially to emphasize words, it often triggers negative reactions, even if the message is harmless. In some cultures, like in Malaysia or the Philippines, pointing with your finger is seen as deeply rude, reserved only for animals. Instead, they use their thumbs to point at people or directions. Our hands are powerful communicators. Whether we're being polite, commanding, or crossing a line, our palms say it all. So the next time you're giving a direction, making a point, or reaching out your hand, pay attention to your palm. You might be sending a stronger message than you think. We were still diving into Chapter 2 of the definitive book of body language, titled, "The Power is in Your Hands." In this part, we explore how simple hand gestures can completely change how people see you. And guess what? The results are surprising. We ran an experiment with 8 lecturers. Each of them gave a 10-minute talk, but here's the twist. They used different hand gestures in each presentation. Let's break it down. When the lecturers used the palm-up gesture, open hands facing upward, they got a whopping 84% positive feedback. Audiences felt more relaxed and connected. But when the exact same lecture was given using palm-down gestures, hands facing downward, positive reactions dropped to 52%. That's a big difference, right? And here's the worst one. When they used the finger-pointing gesture, only 28% of the audience responded positively. Some people even walked out. Why? Because finger-pointing feels aggressive and bossy. Listeners not only disliked it, they also remembered less of what was said. So, what can you do if you're a habitual finger pointer? Don't worry, there's a better way. Try bringing your fingers together to form a soft OK shape, with your fingertips lightly touching. This gesture makes you look authoritative but not aggressive. We taught this to public speakers, business leaders, even politicians, and audiences described them as focused, thoughtful, and goal-oriented. Compare that to finger pointing, where speakers were described as rude, aggressive, and unpleasant. And worst of all, the audience remembered less of their message. Now let's move into another fascinating area, handshakes. Did you know handshakes started as a sign of peace? In ancient times, people showed open palms to prove they weren't hiding weapons. Romans even used a lower arm grasp to check for hidden daggers. Today, handshake, where we interlock palms and give a few pumps, originated in the 1800s to seal business deals between men of equal status. Now it's common around the world, not just between men, but between everyone, especially in Western cultures. In Japan, bowing is still traditional, but even there, handshakes are becoming more popular. Fun fact, in Germany, people usually give 2 to 3 pumps with a little pause. In France, people shake hands when they meet and when they leave, sometimes spending a big part of the day doing it. So whether you're giving a talk or greeting someone, remember, your hands are saying more than your words ever could. Use them wisely, because the power is in your hands. Have you ever hesitated for just a moment before offering your hand to someone new? You're not alone. In a world where first impressions are made in mere seconds, one simple gesture, a handshake, can say more than words ever could. But here's the real question. Who should reach first? The handshake, a global symbol of greeting, trust, and respect, might seem simple, even automatic. But beneath this everyday gesture lies a world of unspoken meaning. It's not just about connecting hands, it's about power, presence, and perception. Imagine you're meeting someone for the first time. Who extends their hand first? You, them, and what does that say about you? A handshake initiates more than just contact. It opens the door to trust or slams it shut. Before you extend your hand, ask yourself, am I truly welcome in this space? Is the other person ready to meet me? Could this gesture feel forced rather than respectful? Sales professionals, for example, are taught not to initiate handshakes during cold calls. Why? Because when a customer feels pressured to respond with a handshake, it can backfire, triggering discomfort rather than connection. In these moments, a respectful nod might be more appropriate, especially when entering uninvited or unfamiliar territory. Now let's take this one step further, across borders. In many Western cultures, handshakes are expected. But in parts of the world, they're not just uncommon, they might even be inappropriate. In numerous Muslim-majority countries, for instance, a man shaking hands with a woman can be seen as offensive. A respectful nod or hand over the heart is a more culturally appropriate greeting. So before you extend your hand, consider this. Are you greeting them on your terms or theirs? Cultural awareness isn't just polite, it's powerful. Let's talk gender, because the rules of engagement can differ dramatically. It turns out, women who initiate firm handshakes are often perceived as more confident, open-minded, and professional. And in most parts of the world today, that's a good thing. But not everyone plays by the same rules. Research shows that while 88% of male executives initiate the handshake with a dominant grip, only about 31% of women do. Why the gap? In some cases, women have been taught, subtly or directly, that a soft handshake is feminine, gentle, or proper. But in the boardroom, softness can be mistaken for submission. Let's rewind to ancient Rome. When two leaders met, they didn't just shake hands. They tested each other. Their greeting resembled arm wrestling, with one seeking to claim the upper hand, literally. That power play lives on today. A handshake sends one of three messages. Dominance, I'm in control. Submission, you're in control. Equality, we're on the same level. A dominant handshake involves rotating your hand so your palm faces downward, subtly placing the other person's hand beneath yours. It's a power move, one often used instinctively by high-level executives. But beware, confidence is good. Overpowering? Not so much. Here's the truth. The modern workplace isn't always as equal as we'd like to think. Women, especially in corporate settings, still face bias based on nonverbal cues. A weak handshake paired with traditionally feminine signals, like high heels or soft speech, can unfortunately lead to being underestimated. But there's a solution. Presence. Women don't need to act masculine to be taken seriously. They simply need to project confidence, with a firm handshake, eye contact, and upright posture. According to Dr. William Chaplin's study at the University of Alabama, extroverted people, especially open-minded women, tend to use firm handshakes. And those first impressions? They last. In the age of remote work, Zoom calls, and virtual networking, the handshake has been sidelined. But its spirit still matters. In the absence of physical touch, we rely on digital handshakes, confident greetings, warm tones, and steady eye contact through the lens. A firm handshake might not land over Wi-Fi, but your intentions still can. So, Who should reach first? The answer isn't set in stone. It's about context, culture, confidence, and most of all, respect. If you're unsure, wait for the other person to lead, or offer a warm nod, a small gesture that speaks volumes, because in a world that moves fast, those who pause to connect with respect always leave the best impression. The next time you meet someone new, think before you reach. And when you do, make it count. Have you ever met someone for the first time, reached out your hand, and immediately regretted it? Handshakes are more than just a greeting. They're a snapshot of your personality, confidence, and even cultural awareness. But what if I told you your handshake might be silently sabotaging your credibility? Today, we're re-breaking down the world's 8 worst handshakes, from the clammy to the crushing, and how to avoid turning a warm welcome into a handshake horror story. Credibility rating 110. Slippery, lifeless, cold. The wetfish handshake is the ultimate mood killer. Nothing screams, "I'd rather not be here," quite like a limp, clammy hand that leaves the other person wondering if they just shook hands with a raw squid. Why is it so bad? Because it signals weakness, insecurity, and lack of interest, even if unintentionally. But it's not always the shaker's fault. Around 5% of people have a condition called hyperhidrosis, chronic excessive sweating, especially in the palms. And in many Asian or African cultures, a soft handshake is actually considered respectful. Pro tip: always carry a tissue or handkerchief before an important meeting, and if in doubt, check your grip with a friend. You might be a wet fish and not even know it. Credibility rating 410. Now let's flip to the other extreme. Ever had your hand trapped in a power... Now let's flip to the other extreme. Ever had your hand trapped in a power grip that felt more like a wrestling match than a handshake? That's the vice. Firm, controlling, and deliberately dominant. While it's often used in business to assert confidence, overdoing it can backfire, making you seem pushy or insecure. Fun fact: some people use this grip because they fear being dominated. So they crush first to avoid being crushed. Psych Insight. Body language experts suggest offering your hand vertically, not palm down, to project equality, not dominance. Let's talk about the handshake that makes grown adults wince. The bone crusher. This one's not just strong, it's painful. This handshake says, "I'm here to conquer," but all it really does is hurt feelings and fingers. Women in professional settings, watch out. This shake can literally leave bruises if you're wearing rings. Major red flag. The bone crusher leaves a terrible first impression, especially if you're dealing with clients, colleagues, or anyone not in an arm wrestling competition. How to deal. If someone crushes your hand, don't suffer in silence. A lighthearted "ouch" strong grip can subtly call it out and reset the tone. This one's awkward and accidental, usually. The fingertip grab happens when you miss the full palm and end up holding someone's fingers like you're about to curtsy in a Victorian ballroom. It's often caused by distance misjudgment, especially between people with different comfort zones. Cultural note. In the West, we like close-range greetings, but someone from a culture that values more personal space might naturally stand farther back, causing this handshake misfire. Fix it fast. Smile, take their hand again, and say, "Let's try that properly." Not only do you salvage the moment, you also show confidence and social skill. You reach out, and suddenly, they launch their arm like a battering ram. Welcome to the stiff arm thrust, used by people who want to keep you at arm's length, literally. It's common among aggressive personalities or those with large personal space needs, like folks from rural areas. Watch the body language. People using this handshake often lean forward, brace their foot back, and subconsciously defend their territory. Solution: step in slightly, match their arm distance with a neutral stance, and use gentle eye contact to break down barriers. Imagine shaking someone's hand, and then being yanked forward like a rag doll. That's the socket wrencher. Part handshake, part judo throw. Whether it's a power move, cultural habit, or just bad social training, this shake pulls you off balance and off your game. 3 possible meanings. The initiator feels safe only in their own personal space. They come from a culture with closer contact norms. They want to throw you off, literally and figuratively. Your move, resist the tug. Keep your stance grounded and take a small step forward to maintain your balance and your presence. Shake, 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 still shaking. You've just met a pump handle. It starts normal, but then turns into an old-fashioned water pump, going up and down like you were trying to irrigate a field. It is more common in rural cultures or high-energy personalities who don't know when to let go. Did you know? 7 pumps is the polite limit. Anything more becomes a social hostage situation. Pro tip: if someone won't stop pumping, gently pull your hand back after a few strokes or break the rhythm with a light chuckle to signal, "We were done here." This one's the most vegetarian. Known in the Netherlands as giving a handshake like a bunch of carrots, the Dutch treat is the cousin of the wet fish, but a little stiffer and still disappointingly lifeless. While not as clammy, it still lacks enthusiasm and warmth. It might be cultural, or it could just be laziness. Either way, it doesn't send a great message. Cultural reminder: not all cultures prioritize strong handshakes, but when you're in an international or professional context, adapting your grip matters. Narrator, conclusion with warmth. Let's face it, first impressions matter, and your handshake, it's your silent introduction. Whether you're greeting a potential boss, a client, or your date's parents, your handshake speaks volumes before you even say a word. So remember, keep your hand vertical. Match the pressure of the other person. Make eye contact. Smile. Practice with friends, get feedback, and master the art of the confident handshake. Because when done right, it's not just a greeting. It's a connection. Now that you know what to avoid, what kind of handshake are you offering the world? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment telling us which handshake you've encountered the most. Have you ever wondered why a simple smile can change your entire day? Why a burst of laughter from someone across the room instantly draws your attention? Because smiles and laughter, they're more than just reactions. They're universal languages. They break barriers, and they connect us in ways words never could. In our upcoming video, The Magic of Smiles and Laughter, we'll dive into what makes this expression one of the most irresistible human icons. Is it hardwired into our DNA? How does it affect the brain and mood? Why do we trust people more when they smile? And here's a twist. Did you know babies smile before they even learn to talk? Or that fake laughter can actually trick your brain into feeling better? So if you're curious about the science, the psychology, and the cultural power behind a single smile, you won't want to miss it. Subscribe now and hit the bell icon so you can be the first to catch this fascinating video right when it drops. Stay connected with our channel, because up next is the emotion, the charm, and the magic behind the world's most contagious symbol, a smile. See you there. And hey, keep smiling.